Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel, and today on another Madden 24 franchise video. And finally I am back with a new Colts franchise video. But in this video, instead of me usually playing a game, since it is the end of the regular season and we have a first round bye, I'm gonna be going over everyone's stats on my team and then simming the week to see who we're gonna play in the divisional round of the playoffs. Hopefully we don't play too hard of a team, but that's really out of my control. So anyways, now let's go over our team stats. So for every single player, I'm basically gonna be going over their stats and seeing who outperformed what they were supposed to be doing and who underperformed. And I'm gonna tell you guys, there is a player that I am kind of disappointed, but Anthony Richardson, he had a lot of passing yards, 5,100 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, 22 interceptions. And then as a backup, we had Sam Ehlinger play a little bit because Anthony Richardson, I didn't want him to get hurt any time before the playoffs started. So Sam Ehlinger had 485 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Actually wasn't that bad. But again, I had to put him in for Anthony Richardson a couple times during the end of some of the games because I did not want to risk him getting injured before playoffs, because that would be really bad. But yeah, Sam Ehlinger did solid. And then rushing wise, we usually do run 2 running backs every single game. So the fact that Jonathan Taylor was able to get 1,283 rushing yards is really good. He also had 17 rushing touchdowns. Insane year. And then Rachaad White, 818 yards, 14 touchdowns. We had a bunch of rushing touchdowns this year. Then Anthony Richardson on the ground had 119 rushing yards. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. Michael Pittman had 17 rushing yards for 1 touchdown, and Evan Hull had 3 yards. Other than that, no one else got yards except Michael Gross, who got -5 rushing yards, which is pretty interesting. Now if we go to receiving, Michael Gross had an insane year. So Michael Gross had 1,365 receiving yards. He had 76 receptions, 14 receiving touchdowns. Michael Pittman had 1,191 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns, also 56 receptions. Dalton Bradham had 81 receptions, so he led our team in receptions. He also had 1,186 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns. Then Josh Palmer had 742 yards and 5 touchdowns. He also had 37 catches. And then Josh Downs had 36 catches, but for 682 yards and 5 touchdowns as well. So they really basically played the same exact role on our team. And then during, receiving wise, Jonathan Taylor had 226 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. Rachaad White, 153 and a touchdown. Jelani ended up getting 106 and a touchdown. And Alec Pierce, 1 catch for 11 yards. And Jalen Tolbert had -3 receiving yards. And then defensively, I would say it was a pretty interesting year. Shaq Leonard led our team in tackles. In terms of solo tackles, the same thing as well. And assisted tackles goes to Jaquan Brisker, which we ended up picking up from the Bears. And then for tackles for loss, it's probably going to be DeForest Buckner. And it is with 14 TFLs. That is nasty for DeForest Buckner. Then it was Frankie Louvu and Grover Stewart. And for sacks, Isaiah Foskey led our team with 10.5 sacks. Frankie Louvu, 8.5. Grover Stewart, 8.5. Cody Pay, 4. DeForest Buckner, 2.5. Shaq Leonard, 2. And then Jaquan Brisker and Kenneth Murray get half a sack. So overall, we didn't really pressure the quarterback as much as I would have liked. Isaiah Foskey had a really good year, though. That is cool. And then interceptions, we didn't really get that many interceptions. All of our players that got at least 1 interception all had 2. So Shaq Leonard got 2, Kenny Moore got 2, Ralph Reddick, our rookie, got 2, and Julian Blackman got 2 as well. And then in terms of kicking, I mean, we went literally 14-14 on extra points. Or wait, is that field goals? I guess it's field goals. Yeah, so either way, our kicker did good, punter, whatever. And then kick returning, we didn't really, I don't know why it doesn't show the stats, because I know we've done more than 10 kick returns. I don't know why it's only showing that, but whatever. That is the same thing. Punt return, whatever. So in terms of our stats, everyone did good on our team. But if I were to pick someone that kind of underperformed, I'm not going to lie, I thought, especially on the defense side, I would have thought if we went to sacks that Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner would get a little bit more sacks. So they kind of underperformed my expectations for them. Now, DeForest Buckner did get a lot of TFLs, but I was expecting them to get a lot of sacks. And then Isaiah Foskey, he actually over-exceeded my expectations. I didn't think he would have that good of a year because he was such a low overall, but 10.5 sacks was really good. And in terms of interceptions, I was kind of hoping for Ralph Reddick or Kenny Moore to get more picks. Unfortunately, they only got 2. And then on the receiving side, I guess the only underperformer maybe would be, our Jelani Woods, actually, because I remember last year I used my backup tight end quite a lot, and this year I just really didn't use my backup tight end. I thought I would use Jelani Woods more. He's probably going to lose superstar development. And then in terms of other wide receivers, I guess Palmer and Josh Downs, I was expecting them to have a little bit bigger of a role, but we just have so many mouths to feed on our offense that it's kind of hard to get, all of our players the ball and, get them a ton of stats, right? Over exceeded expectations would go to Michael Gross and Dalton Bradham. And then rushing wise, definitely, I would say Rachaad White. He had a very, very good year. I know he didn't get 1,000 rushing yards, but he had 14 touchdowns. I mean, come on, that's really good. Then in terms of in-season awards, obviously none of our players on our team are going to get any awards for Coach of the Year or MVP. But if we go to AFC Player of the Year, same thing. No one's going to get that. But Defensive Player of the Year, same thing as well. But this is a good thing. Offensive Rookie of the Year is most likely going to go to Michael Gross. If not, then it would have gone to Dalton Bradham. Then Defensive Rookie of the Year, Ralph Reddick's actually sick, so he's not going to get anything there. Running back, no one. So honestly, the only awards is basically going to go Best Wide Receiver, and Offensive Rookie of the Year is going to go to Michael Gross, and that's pretty much it. So I know we didn't have that many awards, but it is what it is. Oh wait, no, and Matt Gay is going to get Best Kicker, and then that's pretty much it. So again, we had a really good year. Now I do want to mention, you guys, I did calculate the fantasy points for every single player on our team for every single week. Now, what I did was overall, in terms of what I was going over when I was calculating the fantasy points for every single player on my team, I noticed that Michael Gross is a very hitter or miss player. I mean, Buddy either has a really good week or a really bad week. He's either getting like 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, or he's getting 1 catch for 17 yards. So it's really interesting. He was kind of had like really good week or really bad week. He wasn't really consistent though. But Michael Pittman was pretty consistent, I would say. Dalton Bradham was extremely consistent, except towards the end of the year. Anthony Richardson averaged 20.84 fantasy points per game. And I was basically going over the fantasy points because in real life, not in game, but in real life, I do play fantasy football, and I play half PPR league. So I was just calculating the fantasy points if you were to use a half PPR league, which means half points per reception league. So the way I run my fantasy leagues in real life is how I calculated the points in the game. And Anthony Richardson averaged around 20 points per game, which is pretty mid. It's not good and it's not really bad. It's just right there where it's a solid quarterback. And other guys, Jonathan Taylor was really good, especially week 18. He had over 44 points. Rachaad White, obviously, he had a really good year because he had a ton of touchdowns. Michael Gross, hit or miss. Dalton Bradham, he was very good. And then Josh Palmer and Josh Downs and Jelani Woods, Alec Pierce, all those other guys, they really didn't get that many fantasy points per week unless they had a huge catch, and that was it. So other than that, pretty interesting year. So yeah, let's go over to the divisional round. Actually, let's look at the playoff bracket. Let's see who we could potentially play. So obviously, if we look at the AFC side, we have the divisional first round bye, thank God. But the playoff matches are actually they're not that too off from what it could have happened in real life if it wasn't for injuries. Chiefs versus Titans. The Titans obviously wouldn't make the playoffs, but that's fine. Then Bills, Texans, that's a good matchup. And Bengals, Chargers, if there wasn't any injuries or a bad head coach on the Chargers, that could potentially happen. And then on the NFC side, it's definitely pretty interesting. It's Cowboys versus Bucks, Panthers, Lions. The Panthers making it is absolutely incredible. Okay, and then Packers, Eagles, and then the divisional first round bye goes to the Seattle Seahawks, which is also pretty interesting. So honestly, there's a couple of teams in here that you wouldn't necessarily expect to see in the playoffs, including the Titans, Seahawks, Panthers. Maybe even the Packers. I know they did make it this year, but they barely made it. And then in terms of teams that didn't even make it at all in this year in real life, it would be the Titans, the Colts, the Chargers, the Bengals, the Panthers, and I think that's it. Oh no, and then the Seahawks. That's 6 teams that in real life they didn't make it. But hey, this is a video game, so it's fine. But now let's sim. We did finish off the year 13-4. We did really good this year. We had the best offense and one of the best defenses in the league in terms of every stat category. Now let's sim to the divisional championship and let's see who we are going to be playing. Please let it be okay. We're playing the Bengals. All right, it's actually gonna be pretty interesting. Now this offseason is gonna be crazy. We're gonna get rid of a bunch of players that we don't need in our team that I did get, and then I don't want on my team anymore. So we're gonna be playing against the 10-7 Cincinnati Bengals in the divisional round. And we do have home field advantage, which is very, very nice. Let's see if we have any good players to upgrade. We don't, so we'll just auto upgrade him. I don't care about him, but what I do care about is how this bracket is going to be looking like. Let's see. So, very interesting. So, the Chiefs beat the Titans 42-7. That was an absolute massacre. The Bills beat the Texans 19-0. The Texans did not even score a point. And the Bengals and the Chargers, that was a pretty good game. 31-24. Bengals obviously win. And in terms of the divisional round for us, for the AFC side, it's going to be Colts versus Bengals, and then Chiefs versus Bills. Chiefs versus Bills is a huge rivalry. That's going to be a hell of a game. And then in terms of the NFC side, the Cowboys end up beating the Bucks 28-21. Don't know why that game was close. Then we have the Lions and the Panthers. Lions win 34-17. They destroy the Panthers. And then we have the Packers barely edging out the Eagles 26-21. And the divisional round is going to look like the Seahawks and Lions and Cowboys and Packers. So very interesting matchups. It's pretty interesting because in real life, the Cowboys and Packers played each other, and then the Chiefs and Bills played each other at some point in the playoffs. Not in the same round, but you know what I'm trying to say. So it's going to be pretty interesting. If the Cowboys can actually somehow win another playoff game, that would be cool, because I am a Cowboys fan, unfortunately. But, yeah, it's actually a pretty interesting matchup. I mean, honestly, the most realistic possibility, I could see us making the Super Bowl. I mean, we were really good this year, but I don't know. It's going to be tough. But if it wasn't for us, it could be a potential, you know, Chiefs and I guess Cowboys Super Bowl, because I know the Cowboys are really good in sim. I just don't see the Lions making it. I mean, they could, right? They're playing the Seahawks, right? I don't know, but this is really interesting. So, anyways, hope you guys did enjoy the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe channel if you guys haven't. And in the next video, I will be playing a game. This is this video. There's no point because I had a bunch of other stuff to go over before we head into the game. And before we finish off this video, I do want to show you guys our lineup one more time before we head into these playoff games. As you guys can see, our O-line is looking beautiful. Tight ends are looking good. Obviously, Bradham and Jelani both have superstar development. Quarterback Richardson, X Factor. Taylor, X Factor. Rashad White, star development. And then our wide receivers are really good. Pittman, 88. Gross, 85. Josh Downs, 83. Josh Palmer, 81. And then defensively, our defense definitely really good. Julian Blackman is fine. Frankie Louvu is fine. Jordan Brooks is good. I don't know why Kenneth Murray is so low. Why? I don't know. And then Shaq Leonard, really good. He doesn't even play on the Colts anymore, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Jaquan Brisker, 82. He's good. And our DTs are good. I don't know why they kind of underperformed a little bit in terms of sacks. I know DTs don't normally get a lot of sacks, but it's Madden, right? So, should have gone. Isaiah Foskey, really good. Quiddy Pay, solid. And our corners are pretty good, except Julius Brents and Devin Bush are kind of low overalls, but they're fine. And then Ralph Reddick is very serviceable. And then our kicker and punter, that is how it's going to look for the playoffs. I do see us being the Bengals. I think we can, right? There's no way we lose to them. I cannot lose another game. Now, I do want to mention to you guys, this is not our last season, all right? This is not our last season. But these are two players that have favorited for the draft class. Marcus Flowers and Chris Waters. These are the two players that I want to pick up for our team. Chris Waters looks really good, and Marcus Flowers looks really good as well. The only problem with Marcus Flowers is he's a top 5 overall projected pick. So it's going to be tough to potentially trade up and get him. But I want to get him on our team. He looks insane. So there's going to be this whole offseason is going to be insane. Our team is not going to look nearly as close to how it is going to look, or how it has looked this past year. It's definitely, there's going to be a bunch of players leaving our team, a bunch of players coming on our team, a bunch of rookies. It's going to be insane. I cannot wait for that, but I also want to win a Super Bowl as well. So if you guys did enjoy the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't, and I'll see you guys in the next Madden 24 franchise video. I'll see you guys then. Bye.